This might not seem like a big change, but it's a lot bigger than you think. Hey guys, MasakoX here. We continue What If Week with a scenario that, on the surface, might not seem all that bad, but if it were to have happened, it would have grave consequences further down the line. Now, I'm not talking about just destructive things, I'm talking about more emotional disasters as well. This was one of the more weirder what ifs that I've been requested to cover, and at first glance, I kind of just dismissed it. I thought, really? Just this kind of thing just seems kind of boring almost. But when I actually dug a little deeper, I went, oh, okay. This is opening up a bigger can of worms than I expected. It's quite the noodle scratcher, and that scenario is this. What if Gohan was the hero of Earth instead of Mr. Satan? Now, what I mean by Earth's hero is not like what Goku is. He's Earth's silent hero. No one really knows about what he's been up to and the Z-Fighters. What I'm talking about is the hero of Earth that everyone looks up to, and the way the media portrays Mr. Satan. As far as the public is concerned, they view Goku as that one kid who won a tournament like years ago, and he's trying to take on Cell. What a weirdo. Oh, and he dyed his hair for some reason. They're not aware of the feats that he achieved on Namek and the fact that he's managed to save Earth as well as his team a couple of dozen times. To the public, Mr. Satan is their lord and savior and has been throughout the second half of Z. Today's question talks about the idea of what were to have happened if Mr. Satan never took the credit for the Cell games and his estimation in the public eye reduced drastically. In steps the current champion of the Tenkaichi Budokai, Mr. Satan. He takes one step into the ring and he stares down Perfect Cell, thinking he can easily take this twerp down and then score loads of prize money and fame and sponsorship deals, the whole caboodle. And then of course he gets promptly splattered into a giant mountain. At first things carry on as per normal. When he is grilled by the likes of Jimmy Firecracker and ZTV, Mr. Satan is able to duck and dive through all the questions with the smoke and mirrors and lasers, all the stuff that endeared him to us, the audience. So far so good. He's doing fine. If he can just keep on doing this and then just sneak on and then just claim,
I cry foul about that guy. I knew he was no trouble. He's just doing his plenty of tricks.
He can then just jump in and take all the credit. I mean, he kind of has to. He has a kid to feed after all. However, things begin to fall apart when one factor arises, something that didn't happen before. The cameras are still running. Throughout the entire fight, all the way through to the end, the cameras have witnessed Gohan taking on Perfect Cell. 1 minute, there is a massive beam struggle or lasers or whatever, and then the next minute, Perfect Cell is completely gone, vanished from the face of the earth, and it all has something to do with that boy. Mr. Satan is nowhere to be seen. The public witnessed Gohan taking on Cell, witnessed Goku stepping in and trying to sacrifice himself. And Satan basically did nothing other than just throw a disembodied robot head. To those that don't have the context of what happened before, this just might seem like, oh, he's just throwing something out of frustration because he sucks. To us, we know that that action was pretty critical. Basically, Mr. Satan was asked to protect the Earth and he failed at it. Gohan did it instead. Can you imagine? The world's press would have had a field day. Young child prodigy embarrasses Mr. Satan. Gohan, our hero! That is quite possibly the worst kind of damage you could do to Mr. Satan, and it all has something to do with bruising and absolutely wrecking his ego. He was shown to be actually annihilated by Cell almost immediately, do nothing else in the interim, just throw some debris for some reason that people couldn't really fathom, and yeah, he didn't actually try and help Gohan. Things really went south with that massive display of smoke and lasers. He was smoke and mirrors at that point. Right now, he's just become a has-been, not long after he actually rose to prominence. The world turns their focus onto Gohan, who is currently trying to process what just happened, the loss of his father, and is now hurled into the limelight, kind of against his will. For the next 7 years, the world cannot get enough of Son Gohan, and actually as a byproduct, Son Goku actually comes back into the limelight some way as well, because, Gohan has fighting roots. His father Son Goku won the tournament previously, and he is now like father, like son. Oh my god, this story makes so much marketing potential. Gohan has done his father proud and saved the Earth and carried on the legacy of his family. But the real question is here, would Chi-Chi have put a stop to all of this? Well, actually, Not really. So long as he still has a private tutor and all the monies from his junkets actually go towards paying for college tuition, then that's all that Chi-Chi cares about at this point. So let's fast forward 7 years. Gohan has done his absolute best to try and stay out of the public limelight as best as he can, but the fact that he saved the world against total annihilation at the hands of Perfect Cell, who killed thousands of people before, yeah, that's not exactly easy to try and dodge. I mean, come on, Gohan, dodging. Everyone except the people at the Satan residence. In those 7 years, Mr. Satan has basically had to take every single job he can think of just to make sure that he and Videl can actually, live. Her life was turned upside down when that punk Gohan stole all the glory from her father, and basically because of him, their entire family just fell to pot, and yeah, just completely everything was ruined. There's about 7 years worth of festering resentment there. She is never going to see Gohan as anything else other than a usurper. So yeah, that whole romance between her and Gohan from the original timeline, that ain't gonna happen. So okay, bye-bye Pan. After all this fame and fortune, Gohan wants to try and find an outlet for his frustrations in a way that actually grants him anonymity. So, as we can expect, he then dons the cape and the helmet and becomes a great Saiyaman so he can actually do good and not get swamped by fans. At least not yet. So in a way, the whole Great Saiyaman thing takes on a whole other purpose. It's actually just a bit of a coping mechanism for Gohan instead of just a little hobby. So when Videl clocks on to the fact that Gohan is the Great Saiyaman, unlike in the anime, Videl doesn't give him any kind of opportunity to try and keep it a secret. She immediately goes to the press about this fact and makes Gohan's life an absolute pain. He cannot be the Great Saiyaman anymore because everyone knows it's him. Videl is becoming more and more of an annoyance to him, but he tries to rise above it. Luckily for Gohan, he still has a love interest. Remember Irasa from the Orange Star High School? Yeah, they were getting a little bit close before Videl came along, so I'm gonna say that they actually developed their relationship a little further in this scenario, so everything's gonna turn out okay for Gohan. And at this point, Irasa is actually a better and calmer fit for Gohan. We fast forward to the Tenkaichi Budokai and everyone has gathered at the tournament to take part in it, including Gohan. He's basically been strong-armed into doing this not only by his agent, but also by Chi-Chi because, hey, there's that prize money after all. A little bit more money in their life couldn't hurt, now could it? The junior division carries on as per normal, but things start to deviate when we get to the fight between Videl and Spopovich. Actually, Masako, why is Videl still at the tournament? There's no reason for her to be there. Well, I mean, if you think about it, Mr. Satan would still be at the Tenkaichi Budokai because he is still the defending champion after all. He still gets one last crack at trying to regain his glory by trying to win the championship again, so she obviously will take part as well to try and help. The audience watch on as Videl is pummeled nearly to death, and, like in the anime, Gohan still steps in to try and save her. Videl, in a fit of fury, demands to know why he did this. Gohan claims that he just didn't want to see any kind of injustice happen and that this was an unfair fight and it needed to be stopped. He was trying to do good, but Videl just doesn't see it that way. She just sees it as Gohan trying to take credit and, just another headline. What made it especially galling is the fact that now Gohan saved her as well. Oh, that's not the reaction Gohan hoped for. He's disgraced her and her father, but before she can rant any more, she falls into unconsciousness and is taken away to the hospital. Gohan proceeds to fight with Kibito, and then is accosted by Spopovich like in the anime. From there, the scenario starts to realign with the anime for a sizable amount of time. The major difference here is that when most of the Z-Fighters go off to try and stop Babidi, 18 is still there, Satan is still there, there's that battle royale to decide the champion. Satan doesn't exactly have that much money these days, so when he tries to bribe 18 to take the fall, it doesn't quite work because 18 knows how much of a chump he is and how much money he doesn't have. She can make much more money by actually winning the tournament. 18 doesn't hold back and then proceeds to win the Tenkaichi Budokai. Oh man, things are not looking good for Mr. Satan. He just slumps off into a corner, out of sight and out of mind, and then heads to the hospital to tend to Videl. So yeah, we still get Majin Buu being resurrected, him then disobeying Babidi, Super Saiyan 3 even further beyond, blah blah blah. Babidi is then iced by Buu when Buu gets bored of him, and he just freely runs around all the cities causing chaos. So what do the Z-Fighters do? Well, basically everything up to the moment when Mr. Satan meets Majin Buu happens as it does in the anime. While all this is going on, Gohan is off at the Sacred World of the Kais trying to learn how to use the Z-Sword, and then he actually then ultimately discovers the ultimate form. And remember, Super Buu has not happened yet because Majin Buu has not had that negative emotional trauma happen. B doesn't really exist. So by the time Ultimate Gohan arrives on Earth, Buu is still at his house, just idly wandering around, chilling out, reading books that he stole. Ultimate Gohan would have arrived at the house and then challenged Buu to a fight. Buu at this point wouldn't really be interested because up until this point, everyone that's ever challenged him to a fight has easily been picked off and there's just no point doing it anymore. But Gohan doesn't take no for an answer. Gohan's determination and power would have outshone Majin Buu, and even the Ultimate Form's sheer amount of arrogance wouldn't have actually stopped Gohan in his tracks. Having sensed that his brother's back on Earth, Goten would have coaxed Trunks to join in the fight, and they fuse once again into Gotenks. With the fusion, Gohan would have blasted Majin Buu away, completely vaporizing him and the house. Not a single trace is left. So yeah, the Majin Buu nightmare would have actually been resolved before even the likes of evil Buu showed up. And that's all down to the fact that we never got Mr. Satan's endearing and really interesting friendship with Majin Buu. Majin Buu just got bored and then just chilled at his house for a very long time. We just got a straight up fight between innocent Buu and Ultimate Gohan, and yeah, the results were pretty clear. Super Saiyan 3 would have barely been used just to try and impress Majin Buu earlier. We wouldn't have had the fight between Super Saiyan 3 and Kid Buu, or even between Super Buu Piccolo, so yeah, that was a bit of a damp squib. And Goku would have probably just remained dead afterwards, and then Vegeta would have been wished back by the Dragon Balls, but he would actually be still licking his wounds after the whole ordeal. As for Gohan's hero status, well, that would have been sent into overdrive. Word would have spread that Gohan managed to defeat Majin Buu, probably tipped off by the likes of Van Zant and Smitty, because they would have still tried to take out Majin Buu, but they never actually got around to doing it before Gohan showed up. When Videl would come to and then read the new headline, "Son Gohan rise again!" her bitterness towards him would have actually just gotten even greater, and Mr. Satan would have lost one more important thing from his life: his title. It's such a shame to see that family end up with so many negative emotions. So there we go. Here's what might have happened if Gohan was proclaimed the hero of Earth after the Cell Games. The Satan family would have been torn apart and the Buu saga would have literally been cut in half in terms of length. Gohan would have truly become the hero of the story, and Goku could easily pass on the torch to the next generation, not like we saw in the original anime when he was just kind of forced back because hey, he's popular. In a way, it's a more wholesome ending. Well, that is everyone except for Mr. Satan and Videl. Now, for those of you thinking that, oh, Gohan's not going to find a loving partner, well, don't worry. Remember Arasa? She's still there, and I think they will make a very lovely couple. So what do you guys think? Do you like the thought of Gohan being Earth's mightiest hero, or would you like the champ to keep on with his title? Leave a comment below, and let's get this discussion going. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next one, be sure to like and subscribe. Catch you later!